Hello, my name is Klaus Detlef, and in this video I'd like to explain about the German bureaucracy and tell you some things about German authorities and what they do. Believe me, even for Germans, it's not always easy to understand that system. Therefore, I'd like to tell you some basics about the authorities and institutions that you will have to deal with and explain some of the terms used by them as well. First of all, BAMF. In German, Bundesamt für Migration und Flüchtlinge. In English, Federal Office for Migration and Refugees. When you apply for asylum in Germany, you will have to deal with this authority first. BAMF is a federal authority and reports directly to the Ministry of Interior. Therefore, neither the Bundesland Saxony nor the city of Dresden has to do anything with it. The Bundesamt für Migration und Flüchtlinge will receive your application for asylum, will carry out a first short interview, and a comprehensive main interview later. BAMF will also make a decision whether your application will be accepted or not, if you will get a status of protection, and which kind of status you will get. BAMF remains responsible for your residence status even after the asylum procedure. For instance, it can check your status after 3 years and even withdraw it. But don't worry, it's not very likely. Secondly, Ausländerbehörde, in English, Immigration Office. At the city level, the Immigration Office is responsible for all things that have to do with residence, ID cards or work permits. It follows the instructions of the BAMF. Go to the Immigration Office if you need new identification documents or residence permits or extensions of any of these documents, or if you need a work permit. The Immigration Office also makes decisions about settlement permits and resident permits, as well as about deportations. Third, Sozialamt, in English, Social Welfare Office. The Sozialamt is an urban institution and responsible for social affairs. It pays social assistance to people who do not have their own income and have no other entitlement, for example, to unemployment benefits. In your case, the Social Welfare Office is responsible as long as the asylum procedure has not yet been completed, or if there is a Duldung for you. The Social Welfare Office can provide you with an apartment, but many people live in shared accommodation in Dresden. Sozialamt pays you money for living, and it can also give you extra money, for example, if you're pregnant and you need some extra money. In Dresden, Sozialamt is also responsible for the Dresden Pass. The fourth authority you have to deal with is Job Center. If you have a residence permit, the Sozialamt is no longer responsible for you, but Job Center is. The Job Center belongs to the employment agency and is responsible for basic aid for job seekers. We call it Hartz IV. It pays the cost for an apartment up to a reasonable extent and money for living. However, the goal is always that beneficiaries find a job and can make their living by themselves. The Job Center can and will help you to find a job. The fifth authority is the Agentur für Arbeit, in English, Employment Agency. The Employment Agency is a federal agency and it is responsible for job placement and job promotion, but also for the payment of child benefit, in German, Kindergeld. And last but not least, the Jugendamt, in English, Youth Welfare Office. The Youth Welfare Office is a city office. It is responsible for the well-being of children and young people. Actions of the Youth Welfare Office are intended to protect children and young people. In Germany, all violence against children and adolescents is strictly prohibited, without exception, also and especially within the family. If necessary, the Youth Welfare Office also protects children from their own parents and is entitled to take them out of a family. This is called in German Inobhutnahme, taking into care in English. This is always the last resort, if everything else did not work. The Youth Welfare Office conducts discussions with parents and legal guardians, and, if necessary, can also provide so-called family helpers, in German Familienhelfer, who should and can help the family solve problems, ensure the well-being of the children and young people themselves. If you want to know more about the different types of residence permission, we have a video on this topic on this channel too. Please take a look at it. If you have any questions about your residence status or if you have problems, please contact the Foreigners Council, the social advice centers, for instance Caritas, or the Saxon Refugee Council. You can find all the links leading to these institutions below this video. Thank you.